There is one problem that holds people back more than anything else, and that is a lack of clarity. Because when you don't have clarity, you become scattered. You keep changing direction. You start one thing, but then somebody else tells you that there is a better way. So you stop and you start something else. And then another person tells you that is wrong too. And eventually you are not moving forward anymore. You are just reacting to other people's opinions. Now, getting clarity is more difficult than ever, especially online. Every creator, mentor, marketer has a different method. They are all saying, most people do this, but that doesn't work anymore, so you need this new strategy. And of course, their strategy usually leads to their product. So every time you choose a direction, somebody else appears and tells you that direction is wrong. And when the people saying this are ahead of you, it is very easy to believe them. You start thinking, maybe I'm doing it wrong. Maybe I should change my approach. Maybe they know something that I don't. This creates confusion, then doubt, then hesitation. And when you're constantly questioning your direction, it becomes almost impossible to focus. But there is an antidote to this, and that antidote is self-observation. So instead of always asking, what does everyone else say I should do? Start asking, what do I naturally respond to? What kind of content do I enjoy? What messages actually influence me? What products do I choose to buy? What makes me trust someone? Your own behavior gives you information. Not perfect information, but useful information. Because your preferences helps you understand like-minded people, the people you naturally connect with. And there are 8 billion people on the planet. There are a lot of people who think like you. And because of the internet and the algorithm, it is very easy to find like-minded people. So asking yourself these questions is extremely beneficial. I learned this when I started doing sales calls as an educational creator. And at the time, I wasn't closing many clients. And almost everyone told me I needed to get better at handling objections, pushing harder and forcing the decision. But that wasn't how I wanted to run my business. So then I looked at myself as a consumer. What made me buy a course or a mentorship? Was it because someone pressured me? No. When somebody tried to force the sale, it usually destroyed the trust that they had built. And the times where I did buy, I had already made up my mind before I even hopped on the sales call. Why? Because they've already given me value, they showed me they understood my problem, and they earned my trust. So the sale felt natural and they didn't need to handle any objections. So I thought, if this is how I bought, then there must be other people who buy because of the same reasons. And that is when I started to develop my own way of selling. Give lots of value, connection first, low friction, no force. If someone didn't want the offer, that is fine. I didn't try to trap them in an uncomfortable situation. And it worked. I closed 28 high-ticket clients without aggressively handling objections. Some people said no and came back months later asking to work with me. Not because I chased them, but because the relationship was still intact. And that experience taught me something important. Advice can show you possibilities, but it cannot decide what fits you. This does not mean that you should ignore advice. Other people can help you avoid obvious mistakes, they can show you strategies you would never discover alone, and they can give you useful feedback. But advice should be input, not authority, because every strategy was created around somebody else's personality, skills, audience, values, and goals. What works perfectly for them may feel completely wrong for you, and when you blindly copy someone else, you may succeed at something that you never wanted. So listen to advice, test ideas and learn from people ahead of you. But use self-observation to make the final decision. So when you feel confused, stop collecting more opinions. More information is not always the answer. Sometimes it is the reason that you're confused. So step back, look at what you naturally trust, what you enjoy and what influences you. And then choose a direction. You do not need complete certainty, you need enough clarity to commit. Because clarity does not always come before action. Often it comes from taking action and paying attention to what happens. So choose act, observe, and adjust. But do not restart every time someone online disagrees with you. The more advice you consume, the easier it is to lose your own voice. So never blindly copy others, including me. So use advice to expand your options, and then use self-observation to choose your direction. And you do not need everyone to agree with your direction. You need a direction you understand well enough to follow. You are your greatest guide.